You know what? It's pretty hard to wait, so I guess let's just get started. I just don't want to let the music finish today. I just let's get into the swing of things and let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're all fine. I hope you're all doing well. And, it's after a crazy look at Smelly up laughing there. Yeah, I just couldn't wait, I was like, just let's just get started. Sometimes you're just itching to go, and I haven't actually done a stream or a midweek FPL council after that craziness that was game week 9, guys. And if you look at my point and the way this game week was going for me, I was like, dude, on Twitter I actually tweeted, like, this could possibly be the worst game week I ever had in my FPL career. I was on 17 points, guys. 19. I'm sorry. I was on 19 points with only Alexander-Arnold, Salah to play. That's it. I had two players to play, and I was on 19 points. And Salah went absolutely crazy, and Alexander-Arnold got an assist, got a solitary bonus point as well, and Azpilicueta didn't play. Unfortunately, that was the only Chelsea player I had. I had to sit through the game and watch the horrible Norwich concede 7 goals to Chelsea, with my only Chelsea player not involved in the game, afraid that he'd come on later for a 1-pointer as well. So it was a crazy week. In the end, City conceded. That was absolutely, a crazy 3 points from two City players. Didn't have Foden, didn't have Mount, didn't have any Chelsea defender, Chilwell, James. But in the end, Salah and Trent, Livramento saved my game week a bit. So 84 points for me, a small red arrow, which, looking at the grand scheme of things, I was on 19 points with only 2 players to play. I'm really happy that I'm not down to 300 or 400k. So the current rank is close to 150k, and I think it's pretty decent. I can just move on from here. So just had to say this, guys. Michael says, hey Wiz, I still have Lukaku, looking for a 2-week punt before I bring in Kane for game week 12. To be honest with you, there isn't a really good striker option at the moment. Vardy is the obvious one. You could think about Gabriel Jesus. That could be a punt, or you could just go for Tony. If Ivan Toney plays Norwich next game week, he has a really good set of fixtures coming up, and although he's not a kind of a punt, but he's still 20% owned. I think Ivan Toney can be a really good option for this game week. Jackson says, what's the transfer plan? Rafinha to Foden. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough cash to do that, and Rafinha should be fit enough to play. So I have a real fear of missing out on Phil Foden, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get him in this game week. So I'm going to have to go with whatever I have. Next week, I'm going to roll my transfer, and after that, I'm going to have to take out Vardy and bring in Son, with a couple of transfers that I get. And that's the plan at the moment. Excuse me. Michael says, thinking Jesus or Ings, as I have Mbumo. Ings, I'm not sure about. Ings is fine, but Aston Villa in general don't look good. As long as that guy that they signed, Leon Bailey, he starts playing more. I don't think they have the creativity in there to actually feed Ings. So I'm not sure about Ings. I like Tony more than Ings. Jesus could be a punt, definitely. Maybe this week, next week he plays Manchester United. I'm not sure what kind of Manchester United we are going to see against Tottenham today, and what kind of United we are going to see against City. But always skeptical with the City players. Ari says Rafinha out for Foden. That's the natural transfer plan, right? Just take out one of the players and bring Foden in. But unfortunately, I don't have enough cash in the bank. If you look at, I've already made my transfer, by the way. I've taken out Armstrong, and I brought in Ivan Toney 1 week before Norwich. So Ivan Toney's in my team. And what I'm gonna do is next week I'm gonna roll my transfer, and I'm going to bring in Heung-min Son, but by game week 12 in place of Vardy, and Vardy I'm gonna replace with some cheap striker and have the money to replace Saka with Son in game week 12. So that's kind of the plan. Jackson says, do you advise to keep Rafinha or ship him out for Foden Mount? I mean, I think Rafinha should be fine. I mean, that's the update. If you heard Bielsa in midweek after the Arsenal game, so what Bielsa said was, he said that Bamford should be out, but he kind of stated, I don't remember the exact statement, but he said that Rafinha should be okay, or he doesn't have a problem, or something to that effect. So in my opinion, you should not ship out Rafinha before he plays Norwich City. I mean, he's the main attacking outlet for that team. So if I was you, I would not ship out Rafinha, definitely not. I mean, I know there's a big fear to not own Foden or Mount. I'm pretty much, I was thinking about doing Saka to Mount, but I thought it's kind of a hindsight transfer, chasing the points. That was never my plan to bring in Mason Mount, and he missed a penalty. The penalty got retaken again. The goals he scored, is he going to get that much space against any other teams? Not so sure. So that's why in the end I thought, no, Mount would be a panic transfer. I want to stick with my plan. The plan is to roll the transfer next week, have Mbumo and Tony play Norwich, have Vardy play against Leeds, have a decent team Saka against Watford, and then in game week 12 take out Vardy for some cheap striker, and in place of Saka bring in Heung-min Son. That is the plan, guys. Sometimes you stick to the plan, and sometimes things go your way, sometimes they don't, but you have to stick by the philosophy you play the game. George says, hi Wiz, I'm on a wildcard, so I've got questions for you. No problem, George. I think we've got enough time today, and there's not many kind of niggling questions which I think they're going to be around, so I think we're going to have plenty of time today to sort out your wildcard. So shoot. Ari says, do you think Rafinha will play? I mean, I think he can play 60 minutes. Who knows? Even like 60 minutes against a team like Norwich should be fine. And Leeds need to win, Leeds, I mean, they're struggling at the moment, and it's not like they can kind of dilly-dally, or they can let their best players not play even if they are in a state to play, because Leeds are struggling at the bottom of the table at the moment. So with Bamford out, I think they have to play Rafinha. Do you think I should start Livramento or Jimenez? If I was you, I would start Jimenez, my friend. Everton team shipped 5 goals at home to Watford. I mean, Jimenez can easily get an attacking return, and that's a given in my opinion. I think you should always play. Livramento's goal should not change things for you, and it was not like he scored from an open play. He scored from a corner, and he's a good option, but not over Jimenez. You always play the attacker, bro. Jayatete says Diaz out for Arnold for free. I wouldn't be against that transfer. I think Alexander Arnold is one of the players which is very close to being essential at the moment, along with Salah. Adam says, Wiz, just want to let you know that I enjoy your streams a lot. Thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate it, bro. So, the thing is, with my team, what I'm struggling with is that I selected Azpilicueta, although my friend Todd here, he told me to go with James, or I actually wanted to go with Chilwell. Todd suggested me to go with James because I had Livramento to cover for them on the bench. But the way I play the game, I think sometimes I'm too defensive, too safe. I went with Azpilicueta, and actually it hurt me. It hurt me a lot. George says, thoughts on 3-5-2. George, even before I read your team, I don't tend to like the 3-5-2 formation too much. The reason for that is, that 3-5-2 makes your team too rigid. It doesn't make it flexible. That is one thing which I always am concerned about when I go with the 3-5-2. Now let me read your team. He says, Foster is fine. Sanchez, definitely if you want to go with Sanchez, I pretty much agree. Brighton have got some really good fixtures coming up, so Sanchez is fine as well. The only thing is not going to get you many points, save points. Trent, Chilwell, Rudiger, Livramento and Duffy. I would be a little bit wary about going with Duffy since he was on the bench against Manchester City. Lamptey is coming back, so maybe Weltman goes back into that position and Duffy doesn't get as much game time. So you should be wary about going with Duffy. Going with Chilwell and Rudiger, I would suggest you to kind of, if you are, you got Livramento to cover the risk, you could possibly, go with either James, just attack the fixtures, or you could possibly, if you can, get Cancelo, one City defender as well. Salah, Son, Foden, Mount, Jota. See, here's where I see the problem. I think you're spreading funds too much in your midfield. What's gonna happen is one of those like Foden, Mount, their fixtures are going to change. Jota, again, you're not sure if how many games is he's going to start or not, and Antonio has got some really tough fixtures coming up. So the thing what's going to happen with your team is the structure of your team is going to become so rigid. It's going to be very hard for you to kind of move them around. So if I was on a wild card, I would be looking to go for a 3-4-3 or a 4-4-2 in which, because there's many cheap defenders which you can play, but there's not many cheap strikers which you can play. So you have to be wary about that, George. That's just my opinion, right? The team looks perfectly fine for the upcoming 1, 2, 3 game weeks, but you gotta think long term and the structure of the team as well. You have to think about that. But otherwise, I like the team. Barry says, should I get Chilwell for White or get Foden in for Brownhill? Barry, that's a $1 million question, because these are the two players who've got the most transfer ins this game week. In my opinion, both the transfers are desirable, but I'd say Chilwell is more. It should give your team a better balance because White is not trained, is not fit, and Chilwell is a really good option, and at a cheaper price, so that'll save you some money as well. I don't know, but that's a little bit tough one because I have a real big fear in my mind of not owning Foden and Chilwell. So, I'm trying to be impartial here to give your answer, but it's a bit hard. I would go for Chilwell, to be honest with you. Ari says, I have Grealish, so wouldn't it be too much to get Foden as well? I'm going to save. Ari, what you can do is, you can easily just keep Grealish, or you could just replace Grealish with Foden. It's not necessary to bring in Foden along with Grealish. Smelly Web says, smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much. I hope you like the new emojis, by the way. I updated them, Smelly Web. Bjorn says, should I bench Livramento, Armstrong, or Saka? Or maybe transfer Armstrong for Tony and start him? Well, that was my transfer this game week, Bjorn. I transferred out Armstrong for Tony, looking to start him because I'm not sure if Mbeumo's going to play the entire game. So I didn't want to risk playing Mbeumo. So I put Mbeumo on the bench. I transferred out Armstrong for Tony, but it all depends upon what your long-term transfer plan is, so just think about that. I'm going to roll my transfer next week. SH says, hello Wiz, how at first of all, thanks for your advice on last game week for not bringing Havertz. SH, no worries my friend. Technically, it was the right move, although Havertz blanked, but it was not a bad transfer to make, but if it ends well, it's all's well, right? Gaspa says, Sar on Benrahma transfer for Foden. Yeah, if you want to, you can transfer out either of those for Foden, Gaspa. I wouldn't be against that. Christiansen to Chilwell. If you don't have any other fires to put out, I think that's a good transfer to make, SH. Bench Emil Smith-Rowe or Livramento. I mean, Emil Smith-Rowe has been in really good form. If I was you, I'd always play the attacker over the defender. The only problem in my mind would be he played 71 minutes against Leeds in the League Cup in midweek. Not sure if that affects his minutes by any chance, but I would still take a risk with Emil Smith-Rowe. Excuse me, guys. Ashish says, will KDB start? Should I change KDB to Mane? I think KDB should start. He was rested in midweek. I think he's had his rest. I think there's no reason why he shouldn't start, If you have him, I think that's a good player to own for this game week. Nilesh says, my team right now, Ramsdale, Trent, Cancelo, Chilwell, Livramento, like that. White is not going to play this game week. Salah, Havertz, Rafinha, Mbeumo, really good. Wang, Antonio, and Vardy. Did Azpilicueta to Chilwell this week. Nilesh, I really like that team. Really, really good. I think that's, Antonio, Vardy, Wang, Mbeumo. I'm not sure who's going to start, but you can play a 4-3-3. I'd say that's a 9 on 10 team. You haven't got Foden, right? So I'd say 8 on 10. 8 on 10, 8.5 by 10. That's a really, really good team. Thoughts on Hudson-Odoi? I think he was a decent option for Norwich because we knew that Werner and Lukaku were out. Even against Newcastle, we know that Werner and Lukaku not going to play. He's a good option short term. Long term, not so sure. Why Foster? Because I think Ramsdale is going to concede. Leicester are in the form of their lives. I mean, they're scoring lots of goals, not in the form of their lives, but they're scoring goals. They've got different avenues. They've got Patson Daka scoring goals now. They've got Tielemans, Vardy, Iheanacho starting games now. I think Arsenal, without Ben White, they're gonna struggle a bit to take the ball out of the defense, to carry the ball out of the defense, because Calum Chambers is nowhere as close to a good ball player as Ben White is. So in my opinion, Leicester should score against Arsenal. I'm just taking a chance with Foster. They're on a high. They beat Everton 5-2. In my opinion, I'm taking a risk. It doesn't matter one way or another, my friend. Barry says -4 for Chilwell and Foden. Barry, I would say you can do it if you want to. You can do it if you want to. The thing is, Foden plays Manchester United next game week, and in midweek they've got a Champions League game. That is the reason I personally didn't go with Foden. I had a big mind to go for Foden, to kind of take a hit and bring Foden in, but then I thought that they've got Crystal Palace. Maybe if they score 2 or 3 early goals, and Pep might take some of the players off because to prepare for midweek Champions League game, and then they've got Manchester United as well. So I thought maybe not for -4, and that's the reason I didn't go for Foden. Nilesh says, should I do Rafinha to Foden for a -4? Nilesh, there's a chance that Rafinha is going to be fit. And if you got a fit Rafinha against Norwich, in my opinion, we should take that chance. If you have a decent bench who can cover, if Rafinha doesn't play, because if Rafinha is not fit to play, I think he's not going to start or not going to come on anyway. So if you got a good bench, I'm not sure if you have to go for Foden for a hit in place of Rafinha, who plays Norwich. Alright, let's kind of move on. KDB has played 75 minutes in midweek against West Ham, so I had a little doubt over him. But he had his rest in the game against Brighton. He only came on for a short time. So the thing is, if you own KDB, I would just play him. Going with Mane, I'm not so sure. Brighton is not the easiest of the teams to play against, although Liverpool are in such good form, so I don't doubt them one bit that they're gonna win against Brighton. But I think if you have KDB at home to Crystal Palace, you can just try and play him. Sorry. Rafa says, any news? Mbumo. The thing is, Mbumo's Thomas Frank said Mbumo had a little hamstring twitch during the game. That's the reason they took him off, and he said there's a chance he should be fine, but they would look at the last training session. So that was after his press conference. So there isn't a guarantee that Mbumo starts, but I think he could start. Aspilicueta to Chilwell. If you want to do it, you can, Sid. If you don't have any other problems in your team, if you don't have any future plans to bring in Son or any other plans for game week 12, or you don't want to bring in Tony next game week, you already have a decent team, you can do it, my friend. That's not a problem for me. I think that's a decent transfer. Thakif, I transferred out Armstrong for Tony. That's my transfer this week. Armstrong to Tony. Havertz to Foden. I don't think so. I mean, they play Newcastle. Why would we want to kind of take out Havertz for Foden? Havertz was unlucky. Everybody in that Chelsea team got returns except Kai Havertz. I don't know. It was very, very unlucky for Havertz. It was not like he had a bad game. He had a decent game. I don't know. Just unlucky, I'd say, Havertz. He scored a goal midweek as well. Rafinha, Tierney and Aspilicueta. I don't think Tierney is going to start. I think he has a problem, Tierney. He's got an injury doubt or something like that. I think Rafinha and Aspilicueta have a good chance to start. Is it risky to bring Rafinha this week? If you have Rafinha, I'd say you keep him. If you don't have him, I'd say you wait one more week. Because, he did have a bad challenge. And although Bielsa says that he's fit, not sure how long he's going to be able to play. 60 minutes, 70 minutes. So, if I was you, if I had Rafinha, I'd keep him. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't bring him in this week. That's just my viewpoint, Asset says, is this your final team, Viz? Yeah, this is my final team, bro. Yeah. Ashish says, Ings and Weltman out for Rodrigo and Diaz. Yeah. The thing is, you're bringing in Rodrigo for the Norwich game. But after that, Leeds fixtures don't get any easier. Here, let me show you. Leeds fixtures don't get any easier. Leicester, Tottenham, Brighton, even. That's not an easy game, They've got Crystal Palace and Brentford, but then Bamford is going to be back for these games. So, in my opinion, Rodrigo, if you want to bring in for short term, then do it. Otherwise, I would say no. Is it time to take out Antonio? Khalid, I know where you're coming from. I know why you want to think about taking Antonio out, because he's got some tough fixtures, right? Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal's not a tough fixture, but you know what I mean. But you see, he's in good form. He's scoring goals. He scored against Leicester. He scored 2 goals and 1 assist against Leicester. He scored against, he didn't play against Manchester United. So, he scored against Tottenham. So I don't see any reason, and he's 48% owned. If I was you, I would keep Antonio, at least for this game week, and then think about taking him out before the Liverpool game, Do you think Adam Armstrong, Abhijit says, should I do a Maxwell Cornet punt? That's a really good pick, He scored 2 goals, and he's one of those really good players playing in a Burnley team. It's not like a Sean Dyche player at all. The goals he scored, 1 header and 1, just an instinctive shot. He's really good in that game, was Maxwell Cornet, and it's just 6 million as well. Definitely should look at him. If the fixtures are good for Burnley, why not take a punt on him? Yes. Sid says, already have Kane, took a punt when everybody went for Vardy. Saka and Townsend are my headaches. I think, the thing with Saka and Townsend are they're like 2 punchy players, If you had one of them, I would be happy. 2 is a bit much, I'd say. Sid. Raja says, do you think Adam Armstrong... The thing with Adam Armstrong is, if like Broja is out, I think Che Adams is going to come in. Redmond is fit again. Redmond can play. El Ghinossi is playing. So I think Adam Armstrong still makes a sub appearance, I'm not sure if he's going to play the entire game. I don't think. That's the reason I took him out for Tony. Jirat says, hi, was Mahrez to Foden KDB for a hit? That's such a tough one, Jirat. I mean, if at all I had to take out Mahrez, I would take him out for Foden, not for KDB. Foden is a really, really good option. Decent, in really good form, scoring goals. KDB's kind of in and out with those injuries. I think they're trying to manage him a little bit. But for a hit, I'm not so sure, Jirat. You have to make that decision. Do you wish to keep Rafinha for those game weeks? I wish to keep Rafinha. If he's fit, Rafinha is going nowhere from my team. No matter what the fixture, this guy is so good. He can score against anybody, create against anybody. The only problem is, who does he create for? They don't have a good finisher. So Rafinha is going to have to finish his own chances. He's got to finish his own meal. He can't put it on a plate for somebody else because there is nobody there. Rodrigo is not a good finisher, I'd say. Alrighty. Give me a second here. There are... Alright. Amartya or Duffy to start? I'd say Amartya has a bigger chance to start than Duffy. Duffy didn't start last week, so not sure about Duffy. Amartya has been starting the last 2 game weeks. I think he has a decent chance to start again. Townsend or Mbumo next week? Mbumo. He plays against Norwich at home. George says, I have a feeling Cancelo will be benched this game week. George, there's a huge possibility because Pep said that although Cancelo and Walker have been playing well, but they need a rest. But he played 45 minutes in the League Cup, so I'm not sure if he benches Walker or he benches Cancelo. But I think Cancelo has a more chance to play because he can play on the right as well as the left, and Walker only plays on the right. So if he intends to start Zinchenko, Cancelo can easily move on the right. Rashford or Foden? Foden, Jashan. Always Foden. He's in such good form. Foden. Rashford is just coming back from injury. Not in good form. The team. Abhijit says, yeah, he was phenomenal that game. Thanks, mate. You're welcome, my friend. Vardy or Son? I would go with Son, George. Vardy has has a couple of decent games. Either you can get Vardy this game week and then plan to get Son by game week 12, and I'd like that transfer plan as well, or you just go for Son straight away. These couple of game weeks, Vardy always scores against Arsenal. He's got 11 goals in 13 games against Arsenal. He loves scoring against Arsenal. So if you want to get Vardy for 2 game weeks and then go for Son, that is also a good idea, when the fixtures of Spurs actually become really, really good. Why Foster over Ramsdale? Bipin says. I think Leicester are going to score against Arsenal, and that is the reason I went Foster over Ramsdale. Just a gut feeling. There's nothing much between them. I think both Watford and Arsenal are going to concede. Since I already had Saka and Vardy from that game, I don't want to put too much, overload the risk in that game. That is the reason I went with Foster. Trossard to Mount. Why not? If you want to, I think the thing is you can't expect Mount to give you 24 points every game week. More like a 6-7 pointer would be a decent return from Mount every game week. Excuse me, guys. Al-Ani says Foden or Grealish. Foden. Reela says start Tony and Mbeumo or Rafinha. Tony and Rafinha. I think Cancelo and Grealish will play today in the start. They rotate in the cup. Maybe they're more fresh and can... Possible, my friend. I think Grealish, I think he's much more nailed than everybody else think. I think Pep trusts Grealish and his technical qualities on the ball. So I think Grealish is going to start, and Cancelo has more chance to start than Walker, I'd say. Barry says, I'm going to take the -4 for Chilwell and Foden. Barry, one way to rank up is not to take hits, by the way, Just need to plan for long term. You want to get Chilwell and Foden for a -4. I am not against that, but you have to plan for the long term. Just don't look at one game week, or don't look at the recency bias when making your decisions. That's just my point. Lightrace says, Wiz, who are you thinking of swapping Vardy to bring in Son? Lightrace, I might swap him for some cheap striker, maybe like Hwang, or maybe even I can afford somebody like Wilson. If they get a good manager by that time, I can think about Callum Wilson, and I can replace Saka with Son if I get like Callum Wilson in place of Vardy. So I'm gonna evaluate my options when the time comes. At the moment, I've looked at some options, but I'm not too confident. Ashish says, what is your thought on bringing Brentford defense? I think David Raya is going to be a big absence for that team. He got injured. He's out for 4 months. You should know this. So Raya is going to be a big absence for that defense. But if you want to go with, I'd say Pinnock or Rico Henry is a good option. Aditya says, hi Wiz, I want to sell Gallagher and Benrahma. 1.9 in the bank. I have Rafinha and Tony in my team. Who to go for? You could think about going with Mount. I'd say, that is the only realistic option. You could think about going with Maxwell Cornet, but he's more of a punt rather than a reliable pick. But he's been playing well for Burnley. Otherwise, Mount is the way to go, I'd say, my friend. Or Mbeumo if you don't have him. Mon says, is Phil Foden starting? Who knows, Mon? I don't know, but I think he should. He didn't play too much in the midweek, so it should start. But he did miss a penalty. Don't know how that affects his confidence, but yeah. Sorry guys, I need to get a move on. Who should I captain, Son, Vardy or Salah? There's not a question, guys. If I had to make this video about captaincy, just captain Salah. Unless he loses form or something happens, just don't take your captaincy of Salah, because the variance is going to kill you. For example, last week if you captained Havertz, who if I owned, I would have captained him as well. It would have killed you. The 6 points of Havertz captaincy and 48 of Salah captaincy. That's crazy variance there, guys. So think about it. When do you plan on feeling Antonio? I don't plan on feeling Antonio. I know you mean selling. So I think about that. I'd say I plan on keeping Antonio as long as he's fit. Justin says 5.3 for Shaw. Any better option for the same money? 5.3. 5.6 can give you Reece James, and who I think is a really good option. If you want to downgrade, you could go for Christiansen, but we are not sure if he starts. There are not many good options in the budget defender category. Livramento, you could possibly just downgrade for Livramento and take some money out of there. Todd says if you were on a wildcard and wanted to play 3-4-3, who would be your 5 defenders? My defenders would be Chilwell, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, Livramento, and one more, I'd say, a Brighton defender. I'd say Lamptey if he's fit. If Lamptey is not fit, then I'd possibly go for somebody else. But I'd play 3 premiums and go for Livramento and one else. That would be my plan, because Chilwell is pretty nailed on at the moment. Alexander-Arnold is nailed on too. If Cancelo doesn't play, Livramento can cover for him. So and another one which we get, a cheap defender. I think that's the way to go, Todd. What's your rank now? My rank is 150k, Bipin. Not too good, not too bad, I'd say. Shane, King or Huang? I'd say King has scored a hat-trick, but Watford's fixtures don't dictate getting in a Watford player right now. Only this game week they can possibly score, but after that, if you look at their fixtures, I'll show you their fixtures. Do you really want King for Arsenal, United, Leicester, Chelsea, City? I mean, that is a hell of a fixture list for Watford. I'd say just based on that, go for Huang. Shall I sell Kane or keep? If you already have Kane, my friend, you should keep him, because after game week 11, starting game week 12, they've got amazing fixtures, the Spurs, So I'd say keep him. It's Mr. May says transfer in Tony and Trent for Lukaku and Tierney, or Lukaku to Vardy. I'd say Tony and Trent looks good to me, my friend. Long term, I think they are the better options. Mon says Captain Rafinha. No, Captain Salah. Always. You can vice Captain Rafinha. I don't care, but I'd say Captain Salah. George says, tell me about it. I captained Havertz and fell nearly 300k from 150k. That's... George, you were not wrong. If I owned Havertz, I would captain Havertz. Can you believe he was the only player in that Chelsea team who did not get a return? Rudiger got a return. Reece James, Chilwell, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Kovacic, Jorginho. I mean, he was the only person in that Chelsea team who didn't get a return. That is insane, So it was unlucky, bro. You were not wrong. Your decision was correct. Jaditya says bench Livramento or Emil Smith-Rowe. I would bench Livramento. I would play Emil Smith-Rowe because I always prefer the attacking player. Mount or Havertz? You asked me this question last week, I would have said Havertz. Now it's difficult for me to comment on that, bro. That's a tough one. I'd say go for Mount, because it saves you some money in the bank. Lee says, I guess you got money in the bank. Lee, I've got 0.7 million in the bank. Let me show you here. Zara says good replacement for Danny Ings. See, Ivan Toney, I'd say Ivan Toney, he plays Norwich next week, he plays Burnley this week. I think Ivan Toney is a really, really good option, If you kind of want to wait for a bit, I'm looking at Callum Wilson as well. I'm looking at Callum Wilson coming like game week 13 or 14, depending upon if I want to kind of replace Vardy. I could easily get Callum Wilson because he plays Brentford that week. So, in my opinion, there are not many good strikers. Jimenez, Callum Wilson, Ivan Toney would be my picks, kind of. Play Livramento or Townsend or Saka. I would play... Oh, that's a tough one again. I'd say Townsend has the better fixture. Saka has a really good record against Leicester, by the way. In 3 games he's played against them, or 4 games he's got 2 goals and 3 assists. So he does have a good record against Leicester. But based on the fixture, I'd say Townsend looks to be the better option. It's a difficult one, Nirdesh, to be honest with you. Lucas says, would you play Townsend or Saka? What are your transfers? I just answered that, my friend. I transferred out Adam Armstrong for Tony. That's my transfer. The thing about Townsend is, I'm not sure if he's on penalties. If Richarlison is playing, earlier he got his returns from penalties as well, and he's scored the odd goal too. But Everton's form has been off a little. It's difficult. It's really difficult to say. Next week it's easy to say just play Saka against Watford, but this week it's tough to pick for me, my friend. Key says, I've got McCarthy, Cancelo, Trent, Chilwell, Mbeumo, Salah, Son, Foden, Vardy, Antonio. How should I manage this? Key, I don't understand the question. What you got, minus 0.7? Like you want to downgrade a player? Is that? Just let me know. Aditya says, hi Wiz, what about Gallagher to Bailey? Aditya, I really like the look of Leon Bailey. The thing is, he just can't stay fit. Ever since he's joined Aston Villa, he's, you watch him play, he's a live wire, that guy, Leon Bailey. But he's not been staying fit. Gallagher at least plays all the games, makes late runs into the box, has a potential for goal scoring as well. So as long as Bailey isn't fit, I wouldn't take that chance. He says, already answered that, I think. Sid says, should I keep Saka and Townsend or transfer one of them out, thinking to get Mbeumo in place of one of them next game week? To be honest with you, yes, you can keep them this game week. I'm not sure. We are not sure about Mbeumo, how long his hamstring is going to hold, how long he's going to play. Is he going to play 60 minutes again? Last week he got subbed off at 57. So, just keep them one more game week, and before Norwich, just get Mbeumo in. The Frenchman should be fit, I'd say. Rafinha is likely to play, says Chill Radio. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's what Marcelo Bielsa said in both of his press conferences. So technically, I think he should be alright. Yeah. Chilwell or Foden? That's a $1 million question, bro. They're the two most transcendent players. It's hard to select one because they're not playing in the same position. I'd say long term, you'd possibly want Chilwell, but think about it, Lenny. Jethro says, Wiz, who do I start amongst Wong, Laporte, Livramento? Already have Cancelo. If you want, you can kind of start Wong. At least he's playing all the games, and Everton just shipped 5 goals against Watford. Who says they can't ship a couple against Wolves as well? Logic says you should start Wong, or Laporte because he plays for Manchester City. Who to play, Sarr or Smith Rowe? I got 1.2 million in the bank and a transfer. I mean, you can play Sarr because they're playing against Southampton. Southampton have been conceding goals as well. And, Watford scored 5 against Everton. Sarr did not get an attacking return in that game, but I think he was unlucky not to get a return. If I was you, I would play Sarr. Is Trent Alexander-Arnold a must-have? See, again, Prajwal, I never say anybody's a must-have, but Trent Alexander-Arnold is playing in a team who are keeping clean sheets, who are like scoring goals, and Trent Alexander-Arnold has the potential to score a goal himself. De Gea made an amazing save. Otherwise, Trent would have got a goal as well in that game. He would have got a 16-pointer, even more. I'd say he would get 2 bonus points. A 17-pointer for Trent was De Gea made a fingertip save right there. So I'd say you should get Trent, yes. They say, should I transfer in Foden in this week, or shall I keep the transfer for other game week to bring in Tony and Son both? The Son's fixture swing comes in game week 12. So what you can do is, you can bring in Foden this game week, and you can possibly, bring in Tony next game week, and then bring in Son. The problem is, if you don't bring in Foden this game week, next game week he plays against Manchester United. So I don't think there's a point to bring in Foden against Manchester United. So either you bring in Foden this game week, or you bring in Tony, or you roll the transfer. Because Tony plays Norwich next game week, and you would want him for that game. Sid says, bro, do you think Azpilicueta will start? I think he will. Yes, I think he's fine. That was the update from the press conferences. So in my opinion, Azpilicueta should start. Let me just check my crystal ball once again. By the way, yeah, I think Azpilicueta should start, especially because Reece James played midweek in the League Cup. So I'd say that gives Azpilicueta an even better chance to start. Who knows what's gonna happen? But as I always say, this guy, Thomas Tuchel is Pep Guardiola on steroids. FPL Jug says, hey Wiz, Chilwell for Tierney or Mount for Rafinha? I would go Chilwell for Tierney. Even if Rafinha is out, still I think that's a better transfer to make this week. Because if Rafinha plays against Norwich, you still can expect some returns, bro. Himanshu says Wong or Tony. Tony. Himanshu. Always Tony. Smelly Wab's loving that new emoji. I love it as well. So yeah, guys, in my opinion, guys, listen, why did I bring in Tony? I brought in Tony not to play against Burnley away. I brought him to play against Norwich, Newcastle, Everton, and then Leeds and Watford. Look at those fixtures. You really don't want to own Tony. Like he's the talisman of that team. All right. He's not scored too many goals. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists, but he's on penalties. He's playing really well, and he's not massively owned. Unlike like Antonio's like 48% and so on. So I'm just trying to stay ahead of the curve and bring in Tony 1 week before Norwich, and then I've got Mbumo as well, and I'm gonna double up on them. So I'd say Tony's a really good option. You should not ignore them. Any update on Mbumo? Yeah, well, Bielsa said that Mbumo could be fine. He had not Bielsa, Thomas Frank. So he said that Mbumo should be fine. He said a decision should be made after the final session, but he has a good chance. That's what he said. Quote unquote. That's what he said. So in my opinion, Mbumo can play. Not sure if he's gonna play the entire game, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, but I think he has a chance to play still. That's all we can ask or count on. Nirdesh says, and the last and the final question, mate. I bring in Jesus in game week 9 for a differential. What's your gut says this game week? I think Gabriel Jesus is a good option for this game week. I expect him to start, especially because Riyad Mahrez hasn't performed, and Jesus isn't currently playing on the wing. And if need be, he can play as a striker as well, especially with Ferran Torres out. And if Pep wants to take off Phil Foden earlier for the Champions League game, Jesus can easily move to the center as well. So gut says Gabriel Jesus is a good option. Start Jimenez or Vardy? I'd start Vardy. I think, as I already told you, Vardy's got like 11 goals in 13 games against Arsenal. He loves scoring against them, so against us. So I expect Vardy to start and score. And we already have confirmation that Vardy is going to start from Samuel Martin, who's got reliable information about about Leicester. So he already said that he's gonna start Jamie Vardy. Excuse me. I'm just gonna go through Twitter and see if I can find any other information for the game week. But in my opinion, we're not gonna get get too much news here. But I'm still thinking here. Give me a second. Today is the happy birthday of Ashley Barnes, so he might score against Brentford, or he might get a day off. Who knows? Sorry guys, I don't think I'm gonna get any more information. Technically, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any more information about Vardy. I think the only thing we're gonna know is Vardy starts, and that's all. Coming back. Praj says, I have Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Cancelo, and Diaz. Should I bring in Trent or go Foden this week? Technically, if I was you, I would go for Trent. Because he's a long-term hold. You never know with Pep Guardiola when he starts benching a certain player. But with Trent, we know that as long as he's fit, he's going to play. Would you do Grealish to Foden for a hit? I would not, Dominic. No, I would not. The thing is, they've got a midweek game in the Champions League. City, and then they've got Manchester United at the weekend. We're not sure how many minutes each player is going to get, and if Grealish starts, I think he can easily get one return. And if you look at Foden wasn't like Foden's game against Brighton wasn't an 18-pointer. The goal he got was a lucky one, especially the second. Even the first one, he smacked it against the bar and it went in. The assist he got was in the dying stages of the game, which could easily have been avoided. All the 3 returns that Foden got, along with the bonus points, of course, weren't clinical finishes, if you know what I mean. But anyways, that's totally up to you. That's just my opinion, Dominic. If you can start 2, who would you pick? If you can only start 2, Antonio, Jimenez, Livramento. I would play Antonio and Jimenez. Thomas says best 5.5 million defender. 5.5 is a bit tough. If you had asked me 5.6, that would have been so much easier. I'd say Reece James, but let me have a look. Give me a second. 5.5, right? I'd like to say Cresswell, but their fixtures are so difficult, my friend. Laporte, possibly Laporte should be a decent option, but again, you know, if you want to stretch your budget to 5.6, you can get Reece James, who I'd say is a really, really good option. Other than that, you just have to go lower. There is no good options in that price bracket, actually. You know, yeah. So that's my answer. So Todd says, gaze into the crystal ball and tell me how many EPL games Alonso will start in the next 10. All right, that could be an interesting one. For that, I need to look at Chelsea's fixtures and then look at the crystal ball, of course. I'd say he starts 2. I'd say he starts 2 out of the next 10. That's all. The crystal ball is telling me, Todd. The Outhang stone's not working today. Dominic says thank you for your help. You're welcome, Dominic. No worries. Are you playing Foster? Says Jackson. Yeah, I'm thinking about playing Foster. I don't see any reason why I should. You know, I should play 3 players in the first game. You know, especially when they all use the Gandhi. You know, never pick captains, never play players in the first game or all that stuff. I don't know. You know, and I just feel that Leicester are in such a good goal-scoring form at the moment. I think they're going to score against Arsenal, especially with Ben White absent. That's the reason I'm going with Foster. Todd says thanks, Fizz. You're welcome, Todd. Hopefully the crystal ball serves me right. Yeah, guys. So that's pretty much. I mean, we've got the stream started earlier today, and we're pretty much got wrapped up with all the questions. I'm pretty happy with that. Start Saka, Benrahma, or Semedo? That's again a tough one. Benrahma, I'd say it should be between Saka and Benrahma, my friend. Pass says, yo, Wiz, Christiansen to Rudiger. Other defense I have Livermento, Walker, Cody, and Simicast. Obviously, Simicast is not going to play. See, you got Livermento to cover Christiansen, so you can easily let Christiansen be in that team. I think Christiansen has a chance to start as well as Rudiger does this game week at least. You know, so you could save a transfer if you wanted to, especially if you got cover on the bench. If you don't have cover on the bench, then yes, you can make the transfer, in my opinion. You know, it's the Chelsea defense. The only players who are nailed on are actually Mendy and Rudiger. You know, I think their centre backs are going to be rotated a little bit, in which like they've got Thiago Silva, Christiansen, Azpilicueta can play there, Chalobah. You know, they've got so many options in there. You know, on the left they've got Malang Sarr as well. You know, and on the left they've got Chilwell and Alonso. On the right they've got Reece James. On the right, Callum Hudson-Odoi can play there. Azpilicueta can play there. So the options on the flanks are limited, the wing backs, but the centre backs, they've got like plenty of options there. Trusting Cristiano Ronaldo for the El Sacico fast says. That's an interesting name, by the way. I saw that on Twitter as well. So why are they calling Manchester United versus Tottenham El Sacico? It's because like they expect whoever loses the game. For example, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer loses the game, I think they think that he's going to lose the job. If Nuno loses, Espirito Santo, he loses the game, and they think he might lose the Tottenham job. So like both managers have got the sack on the line, so that's the reason they're calling it El Sacico. Interesting, Faz. Interesting. Jackson says, thanks, mate. Give some likes, folks. This channel is so underrated. Let's make it big. Thank you so much, Jackson. Always appreciate it, my friend. Matthew says, hey, Wiz, is Auba still a viable option to replace Lukaku? I know why you're asking that. I know you're looking at the Watford fixture next week, right? In my opinion, I would not go to Aubameyang, my friend. You know, if at all you want to replace Lukaku, just go for Ivan Toney. The reason being, he plays Norwich next week, he plays Burnley this week, and they've got good fixtures coming up. I'd still say just go for Ivan Toney. You know, it's just Arsenal is not playing well as an attacking unit. Aubameyang is fine, he's putting in the effort, but Arsenal are not creating chances for him. Tiger says, is Rafinha going to play against Norwich? I do not know, my friend, but Marcelo Bielsa said that he has a chance, and if he has a chance, I'm taking it. If he is not fit, I don't think he comes on as a sub. So that's the reason I'm putting him in. Ole won't go unless he loses to City, which I think he will. I mean, even before that, if he loses to Spurs, I think the pressure on the board is going to be too much. Even against the game, after the game against Liverpool, I think it was a big pressure. The board were really close to sacking him, but possibly Alex Ferguson came to the training ground, supported Ole and all the ex-players. Rooney supported him, and but if he loses to Spurs and City, there's gonna be no excuses. Isha says, hi Wiz. Hey Isha, what's up, my friend? Aditya says, start Benrahma, Mbeumo, or Rafinha. If I was you, I'd start Rafinha. Can Mbeumo start? I think he can, I'm not sure if he can finish the game, though, if he had a tight hamstring, but I think he can start. Nirday says, hope Saka brings me up this game week, and by the way, thanks, mate. You're welcome, my friend. Do not expect too much from Saka, but if he can give you if he can give you one return, I think I should be happy with that, because he does have a good record against Leicester, as I already mentioned. In 3 games, he's got like 2 goals and 3 assists. I don't see why. He could easily have got a goal against Aston Villa if he had had a better shot with the right foot. He was 1-on-1 with the goalie and he missed that goal. Fast says, have the same goalkeeper options. Why Foster over Ramsdale? I've got Vardy and Saka as well. Well, you see, Fast, that's the reason I'm going with Foster, because I don't want to have 3 players. If I'm playing Vardy and I expect Vardy to score, why should I put Ramsdale in my team? It's like a conflict of interest. That's the reason I'm just, taking a punt on Foster. Why not? Nazrul says, I've got a feeling Thiago Silva will be a good punt. I mean, to be honest with you, if you want to go with the Chelsea centre-back, go with Rudiger. He's the most nailed-on player and the fittest out of all of them. I mean, Thiago's like 36 now. You really want to take a punt on him. It's better to go with Rudiger, Chalobah, Malang Sarr, Thiago Silva, Christiansen, all these guys have a tendency to be rotated. I don't think Rudiger has. Start Mope or Mbeumo. If I was you, I'd say Mbeumo, just put him in the team, hoping for the best. Mope is playing against Liverpool. Not sure if he's going to get too many chances there, my friend. Benrahma or Livramento as first sub? Benrahma, my friend. Matthias says, why is Salah captain? Well, my friend, is the Egyptian king in it. Sarr or Pukki? I'd say Sarr. Who does Norwich play? I have no idea who Norwich are playing. That's how much, how less concerned I am about their players. Let me have a look. They're playing against Leeds at home. I mean, Pukki's not a bad shout either, to be honest with you. He's on penalties, so, But, Sarr obviously has the higher potential, because Pukki scored 1 goal all season. That was a penalty. And Norwich are not looking like scoring any goals anyway, so it's a difficult decision, Matteo. Mayu says, I still have Benrahma, don't know who to bring instead of don't have more money. You could wait one more game week. You could give Benrahma a chance, You could give Benrahma one more chance, and then next game week bring in Mbeumo if he's fit. Swap Cristiano Ronaldo with Lukaku once he comes back. I wouldn't, my friend. I just don't think that Chelsea's actually clicking so much with Lukaku. Once Chelsea have the complete team back with Werner fit and everything, we want to see their shape and how they play. I'd say the value lies in the Chelsea defense at the moment. Will James start? No idea, my friend. He played midweek in the League Cup game, so I'm not sure if he's going to start. Captain Vardy or Salah? Raghav. No doubts here, bro. Captain Salah. Andrew says -4 for Jimenez to Tony and Duffy to Chilwell, or just James to Chilwell. Andrew, if you got somebody to cover for James on your bench, you could easily just play along with James. If you have a free transfer and you want to do James to Chilwell, that's fine, But there are always going to be a doubt with the Chelsea fullbacks. They are going to be rotated at one point of time, so. If you expect James to be rotated this week, who knows, like midweek in the Champions League, Chilwell starts and then you think Chilwell is going to be rotated. So just think about that. Isha says my bench is bad. Tierney, Amartey, Gallagher. Want to take a hit, but no. You're fine. I mean, Gallagher is going to start. Amartey is going to start. Your bench is fine, Isha. Just, Tierney, I don't think has a chance to start though. Should I play Townsend over Saka? This is $1 million question. They're playing against Wolves, who are kind of just really tricky team to call at the moment for me. I can't understand Wolves. They are a difficult team to study at the moment. Wolves. I don't know. This is a tough one, guys. Just give our friend Sid an idea here. Should he play Townsend or Saka? Start Livermore or Benrahma? If I was you, I'd start Benrahma. Will Mbeumo and Rafinha start? Aditya, I don't have any idea, but from the press conferences. Melibab, you need to use that Zen, that Zen icon or emoji I made for you, bro. Will Mbeumo and Rafinha start? They should, according to the press conferences. Sub Rafinha to Livermore to a good option. No chance. If I had Rafinha, I would play Rafinha. Sanshiro says, hello Wiz, do you prefer Gray or Harrison? I'd say, do you have Gray or Harrison, or do you want to bring them in? That's the question. We already got our countdown timer from Smellywab, but we need to use this emoji. I love this. I actually made it for just this very moment, the Zen emoji. Time to lock and load, by the way, guys. Just 10 minutes to go to the deadline. If you haven't made your transfer, haven't locked your teams, always a good thing to kind of lock them 5 minutes before, because you never know what happens with the FPL servers. Who to replace TR7 with? Antonio's fixtures. Yeah, I wouldn't replace him with Antonio right now. I'd say Ivan Toney, or you could just keep Ronaldo. That is also an option, Start any of the two. Rafinha and Benrahma, because they're both have more chance of starting than Mbeumo. The fixtures are kind of, the best fixture is Rafinha, and Benrahma and Mbeumo are kind of same. There you go. I love that. What transfers have you made with, says Tyrion? I've taken out Adam Armstrong for Ivan Toney, Tyrion. I'm planning to bring in Harrison. I'm bringing Harrison for Gray for free, but yeah, I can just keep Gray. What do you think? I think overloading Leeds assets might not be the best way. I mean, you want to target the Norwich fixture. That is totally fine, and I understand. But again, in 1 or 2 weeks, you want to have to get rid of Harrison. If you're okay with that, if you're okay with the kind of the short-term transfers, having to bring in a player and taking them out, then that is totally fine with me. But that's not how I play the game. I always try to play it for the long term, So but that's not a bad transfer for this game week, I'd say. Smellywab says brilliant emoji. Thank you so much, my friend. I did have a fun time making these new emojis. So yeah, they're good. So guys, by the way, I'm not going to be doing the predictions today again. I'm sorry. 2 weeks in a row I've been skipping the predictions. The thing is, we've got a festival here in India, It's called Diwali. It's a really, really beautiful festival of lights, and we diyas and crackers, and we decorate our houses, and we get lots of visitors during these days, because we kind of exchange Indian sweets with each other, and it's a brilliant festival. So I'm kind of busy with the preparations of that festival, so no predictions for today, but I'm going to be here till the deadline and answering your questions, of course. Vardy's still a good option, says Matthew. Totally, my friend. I like that. It's a good option for, at least for the next 6 game weeks. You can keep Vardy. He scores against the big teams as well as the small teams. There's nothing not to like. Surfro says, hi Wiz, any good replacement for Saka? 7.4, you see, that puts you away from Mount as well. Don't see too many options in that price bracket, to be honest. Bernardo Silva could be a decent shout, to be honest with you, Surfros. He is a player which not many people have looked at, but I think he can be a good option. Bernardo Silva. You can even look at somebody like Maxwell Cornet. He plays for Burnley, but he's not that kind of a player. He plays really, really well in that team. Scored 2 goals as well against Southampton, so you can look at him as well. Lee Fisher says, Happy Diwali. Thank you so much, my friend. It's on 4th November, but thank you so much, guys. We're going to be having so much fun. This time in our country is actually really beautiful. Everybody cleans their houses, lights, lights everywhere. It just looks so beautiful. And the weather in India is, especially in Punjab, where I live, it's so beautiful at the moment, like beautiful 12, 13, 14 degrees, and just, enjoying it so much. Sanshiro says, thank you for answering and enjoy your festival. Thank you so much. I hope you have fun as well. Lightrace says, dropped 300k last week from captaining habits. Lightrace, I'm so sorry. I'm absolutely sorry for that, bro. Because, it was the right decision. It was the right decision. I feel so sorry for anybody who captained habits and was on the wrong side of variance, because you made the right decision. If I had habits, I would have captained habits as well. And I was so lucky to captain Salah. So lucky, guys. I really, really feel bad for anybody who went through that horrid of game week because of captaining habits, because he should have delivered. Asad says, wish you in advance for the Deepavali festival to you and your family. Thank you so much, my friend, and I hope you enjoy your time as well. Anis says, Sar or Smith Rowe. If I was you, and I just think Sar is on penalties. He's the talisman of that team. But again, the only doubt in my mind is he did not contribute to anything in that 5 goals, and that is the only concerning point. But I'd say Smith Rowe's got a difficult fixture and Sar's got a little bit easier fixture, so I'd say Sar. Chalobah in, White out. I don't think so, and because I'm not sure if he's nailed on Chalobah. He plays a couple of games and then he's out again. Thiago Silva comes back in, Christiansen comes back in. They've got so many options at centre back. I would not get Chalobah, no. If anybody, I'd say Christiansen is still a better option than that. Surfro says, thanks Wiz, happy Diwali. Thank you so much, my friend. Lightra says, festival sounds great. Absolutely. This time in India is absolutely beautiful. We've got Vijay Dashmi, like Dussehra, Diwali, so many different festivals going around. It's absolutely beautiful, guys. If you ever want to visit India, this is the time. November, December, beautiful weather, beautiful festivals, lights all around, happiness, colors. It's just how we describe our country. Sagar says, Kane, Vardy, Antonio. Is this a good forward option to go this game week? I think that's good, my friend. I mean, although Kane doesn't have the best of fixture, and not as in the best of form either, but I think that's fine. White is not going to play, Sagar. I think he had an illness bug. It's not that he has COVID or anything, but he has a fitness bug, something which affected. He was subbed off in the League Cup at 53 minutes, so he does have a problem. Barry says, thank you, Viz, enjoy the Diwali. Thank you so much, my friend. You as well. Kate says, my world rank is 752. That's a humble brag. That is fantastic. If you're really at 752 rank, just enjoy your time. There's not going to be many times in your life that you're going to have such kind of rank. So when you're there, just enjoy and, just love the game. During the Festival of Kites, the Festival of Kites in January is called Basant, and I love that a lot. Kites are just so beautiful. They make the sky look so vibrant and so beautiful as well. George says Rudiger or Laporte. The thing about Laporte is, George, although he's been starting the games, I'm not sure how long he's gonna be nailed for. Technically, he is nailed on, but I'd say Rudiger. The Chelsea've got better fixtures and just looks better. That's a little bit tough one to call. But you won't go wrong going with either Rudiger or Laporte. But if I was you, I'd think about going with Rudiger. He's just got that more threat from set pieces as well, and technically just takes more shots. Laporte has got more difficult fixtures as compared to Rudiger, I'd say. David says, love India, not been for 2 years and missing my winter sun. You're welcome to come, David. It's brilliant at this time of the year. Mr. May says, didn't hear you. Benrama or Livramento? Benrama, my friend. Himanshu says, happy Diwali, Viz, until next week. Thank you so much, and same to you, Himanshu. 2 minutes to go, guys. Lock your teams. No more questions, please. Don't miss the deadline. Lock your teams. Let me refresh my team for you so that you can see that this is my right team. Oh my days. This always happens to me, and now I'm gonna have to log in front of everybody. And then somebody's gonna steal my password. Thank you so much, Fantasy Premier League. Just give me a second, guys. This is my team, by the way. So I refreshed it, and this is my final team. FPL Duck says it's done with Chilwell in for Tierney. That's absolutely the right move to make. I love that, FPL Jug. I hope you have a great game week, and do not captain KDB, just captain Salah. Just believe me, this one's right. Even if he scores 20 points KDB, then the variance is too much to kind of survive. Just captain Salah, my friend. So guys, this is my final team. Livermore second on the bench, Brownhill third, Mbumo first on the bench. Not sure why I'm putting Mbumo first on the bench, but I expect most of these guys to play anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. 4-point hit for Havertz. For who? R66. For who? Who are you going to take out for Havertz? Quickly, 1 minute, lock your teams. No time to answer the questions, guys. Please. I just always implore you to not leave it until the last time. Lock your teams. I'm just using this. I'm writing this just as an excuse to use this beautiful emoji. I just love it. And by the way, guys, so it's already past the deadline, so hopefully I managed to answer all your questions. The most of the questions today were actually as like recency bias, in the sense that people were thinking whether to go for Mason Mount. You should all remember, guys, that Mason Mount is not going to score 24 points every week. If you watch that game, before I go, I want to tell you this one thing. Mason Mount scored a goal. They scored the first goal. It was through the legs of a defender. It was a really good shot. It went off the post. That was a good goal. No problems with that. The second goal, it was a penalty. He missed the penalty. He hit it straight at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper saved it, and due to a stupid retake, it was a stupid retake. And he had to retake that penalty. First of all, he would not take that penalty if Jorginho was on the field. Because Jorginho had been subbed off, that is the reason Mason Mount took that penalty. And he missed it. And then he had to retake it again, and he barely scored again. He hit it against the leg of Tim Krul, and he just barely scored the goal again. And the third goal was absolutely just shambles from Norwich. They had a man sent off. Gibson got sent off. And that is the reason Mount actually managed to score that goal. So he's not going to score 24 points every week, guys. So we need to keep away from the recency bias when we make our transfers. It always makes for a better decision-making process. I just want to tell you that. The only thing. Time's Up says Light Rays. Aditya says good luck, Wiz. Thank you so much, and same to you. Smelly Web says thanks for another great stream. You're welcome, Smelly Web. It was so much fun. And you know how I'd started, right? I couldn't wait to start. And David says good luck, everyone. Thank you, David, and good luck to you as well. Sagar says I wish City, Liverpool, and Chelsea don't keep clean sheets. I don't have these 3 teams. Well, I think easily 2 of them keep clean sheets this game week, my friend. Todd says good luck, everybody. Good luck, Todd. Asad says deadline is passed. Yep. FPL Jack says Salah captain. Totally. May the arrows be green, says Barry. And Smelly Web has given us some green arrows. Hopefully everybody who listens to this stream, and everybody who's everybody who tried to help in this decision making process in the stream today, they get green arrows. I captain. It would be easy for me to say everybody should get green arrows, but that is impossible, right? So it's just easier to say that the people we are connected with should get green arrows, because if we are getting green arrows, somebody else is getting a red arrow, and that is the truth of the matter. So I don't want to say everybody in the world should get green arrows. That doesn't make sense. Although I love to say that is the right thing to say. Everybody should be happy, right? All right, guys. So with that, on that note, I'd like to end today's stream. Thank you so much for joining me on today's deadline stream. Hopefully there's going to be an FPL Council midweek. I haven't been able to do the FPL Council for the past few game weeks, but one more thing, guys, I would like to tell you before leaving. I'm going to start Spaces sessions on Twitter. There's like an audio sessions in which you can join and talk. So I'm going to start audio sessions on Spaces on Twitter. So if anybody of you would like to be regularly involved in those sessions, just send me a message on Twitter, and I would kind of make you a part of those spaces. I want this community to come and join me on Twitter Spaces, not the usual suspects, everybody who are present in all the spaces. I want our community to get a voice. So if anybody is interested to be involved in the spaces on Twitter, just follow me on WizFPL, send me a message, and I would make sure to make you involved in that. FPL Doug says it's prediction time. I'm sorry, FPL Doug, I have some visitors, some guests coming over, and today I can't be doing the predictions, but you know, I hope you enjoyed the time while we spent here on the live stream. Next week, predictions are definitely going to be back. So on this note, guys, I'm going to be taking your leave. I hope you all have a great game week. FPL Visit signing out. May the arrows be green. Take care, everybody. Have a great game week and enjoy your time. Bye-bye.